Thank you to Skillshare for supporting the channel and sponsoring today's video. Minimalism can look differently for everyone. Lately, I have been finding myself wanting to get back to the basics and reconnect with what it is that I love about minimalism so much and how it can help me in my daily life. I've also noticed many of you wanting to learn more about minimalism, about decluttering some of the things that you no longer need, and altogether about how to live a simpler life this year. So today I will be sharing 10 tiny steps towards minimalism in 2023. This video can help you to kickstart your minimalism journey if you're completely new to it, or get a refresher on some of the basics, perhaps if you feel like you've drifted away from it a little bit. I'll be sharing some simple strategies so you can start getting the benefits of living with less stuff and more things that bring you value. Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, this is a place where you can get weekly tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier and calmer life with less stuff. So feel free to hit subscribe down below if you haven't already. And before we begin, I quickly want to thank Skillshare for their support and kindly sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community where you can watch thousands of classes on so many different topics. I have watched their classes on web design, copywriting, videography and photography back when I first got my new camera. But I also learned about gardening, plant care, journaling, art, creativity, playing the guitar, cooking, just so many things. I just love that I have this online space where I can always go if there's anything that I want to learn about or get better at. And there are many things that I'm able to do now, both for my work as a content creator, as well as my personal life and hobbies and things like that, that I wouldn't have learned if it wasn't for Skillshare. This week I watched Japanese tea komachi's class called How to Enjoy Matcha. You might know from me that I am a big matcha fan and I actually knew quite a bit about it already, but this class taught me a bunch of new things as well. For example, how to whisk the matcha to get it really super foamy. I got it way foamier than usual this morning. All the classes have subtitles too, and you can even watch them for 1 month for free, because the first 1,000 people to click my link in the description box will get a 1 month free trial. So big thanks to Skillshare. Highly recommend checking them out. Let's begin with the video. The first tiny step towards minimalism that you can take is changing up your decor items or decoration items. I feel like many of us have quite a bit of visual clutter in our home, and some of that might be caused by items that are supposed to add to the prettiness of our home, which are decor items. Basically, they have no real function other than looking beautiful. However, many of us have a lot of these decor items that are just there because they have been there for a while and we kind of forget about them. Maybe they even become a little old or dusty, or they've just lost their luster. And this can be anything from, tiny vases, fake plants, also wall decor, little statues, everything basically that you put on a surface. A great way to start reducing some of that visual clutter and the distractions that you've got going on in your head and in your home is to gather up all of these decorative items and gather them all in one place. This is what I have done, and I highly recommend it because it works like a charm. To gather them all, let's say on your dining room table or on your bed, or however many you have, in one place, and really take a good look at them. How is their state? Do they still look pretty, or have they gone kind of neglected? Do you still like them? Do they still bring you joy, or perhaps even something like sorrow or regret or painful memories? It can be a bunch of different things, but just look at them for a while and see what comes up. And then what I would recommend is just being critical here. How many do you have, and how many do you think would be a good number for you and for your home? And then what I would suggest doing is take that number and place only your absolute favorite items back into your home, preferably in a new space, so where they haven't been before, so you can really look at them with new eyes and appreciate them somewhere where you think they will add to that space. For example, some spaces might need a little love and coziness, whereas other spaces might be better to leave completely empty. And then all the items that are left over, they can be decluttered, because obviously they're not your favorite ones. I really feel when it comes to decor items, we kind of get taught that we need them to make our home feel cozy, and I don't think that that is necessarily always the case. So if you want your home to feel calmer, nicer, more relaxing, make cleaning easier, then a great place to start is your decor items. And really be critical here, because the only function that a decor item has is make you happy because it's pretty or because it's a memory or something like that. So if it doesn't do that for you, maybe it's time to let it go. Number 2 is, do I need this? This is a really quick way, but a very powerful way to decrease the flow of stuff coming into your house. Because when it comes to minimalism and stuff, just the stuff side of minimalism, there's really two sides: increasing the flow of stuff going out if you have a bunch of clutter that you don't use, as well as decreasing the flow of stuff coming in, because otherwise you're just gonna keep going at it. So every time you find yourself in the store with an item in your hands or in your shopping cart, just quickly ask yourself, do I need this? And try to be critical here. And of course there's needing and needing. Sometimes you just really want something. You know, there's a gray area here, you decide. I always like to quickly ask myself 3 questions. The first is, do I need this? So if I'm going to play tennis, I already have tennis clothes. Do I need new tennis clothes? No. The second question that I like to ask myself is, what will buying this thing change for me for the better? Because a lot of the times I feel like we are conditioned to buy stuff that perhaps is just a little bit different from what we already have, or a little bit newer or sparklier or something. And it won't actually change things. Like, for example, I've been wanting to replace our towels. We have had the same towels for 10 years. And then I see, you know, beautiful colors. Our towels are a little bit ugly. And then I think, oh, I want new towels. But what is that going to change for me? Nothing. I can dry myself off now. I can dry myself off with the new towels. It's not going to really change anything. And it's not like my current towels are used up or that they have holes in them or anything like that. I just don't like the color anymore, and that's not a good enough reason for me to buy a bunch of new towels. Third question is, where will this item live in my home, and is it worth the space that it takes up? If we buy something and we don't already have a place for it in mind, it tends to kind of drift around our house and be in the way. So it's good to think about that beforehand, and especially if it's a bigger item, really ask yourself, like, is this worth it? Is this bread maker worth the huge amount of space it's going to take up in my small kitchen, for example? Third is the wear it challenge. Let's talk about your wardrobe. If you want to simplify and minimize your wardrobe, then of course decluttering is a great place to start. But decluttering your entire wardrobe is not easy. I actually found it the hardest areas for me personally to declutter and curate in my minimalism journey. So one simple way that I have thought of is to go to your wardrobe and pick out all of the items that you never wear. And if you have a really big wardrobe, then maybe get like 10 or 20 items. And what you could do is hold a little challenge with yourself that for the foreseeable future, you have to wear one of these items every day. The only way to really know for sure is to wear it. Just wear it for a day, see how it feels, see how you like the color, see how it makes you feel in terms of confidence and things like that. And then at the end of the day, you can decide, hey, I really like this actually, I'm gonna keep it. Or, you know, I hated this, I didn't enjoy wearing it at all, I'm going to declutter it. Ask yourself what it is you love about something and then try to create that yourself. I love eating out. I love going to a cafe and drink a cup of coffee and drink another cup of tea with my book and soak up the atmosphere and the whole experience. I really enjoy it. However, this year we did decide to kind of cut back on these things and really budget them in, because I don't want to be spending a huge amount of money on these things. It's getting more and more expensive, and I just want to be mindful about this. So I asked myself, what is it that I love mostly about this experience, and is that something that I can do myself at home? For example, with the reading the book thing, I find it very relaxing to be somewhere where there is a bit of chatter and a bit of relaxing music and enjoyable drinks that have just a bit of more attention to them. Maybe there's like a nice candle on my table, and I can do all of that stuff at home. So I like to read my book now here on the couch with a blanket and a cup of tea, and I put on some like cafe music, cafe sounds, and I light a candle and I make the whole experience myself for a fraction of the cost. You could also do the same with shopping. I know for me, what I enjoyed most about shopping back when I still went shopping was finding things that are pretty and nice to look at. And you can do that, but just window shop. You don't have to actually own the things always. And that is a great trick when it comes to minimalism, to view the stores as kind of like a museum for pretty things. So you can go there, you can look at them, you can appreciate them without necessarily always having to buy them yourself. Number 5 is the use it up challenge. Select one or a few areas in your life where you already have more than enough of that thing. For example, skincare items, makeup items, notebooks and stationery, things in your freezer, things in your pantry, and then do a use it up challenge. So that means that you have to use up everything before you can purchase something new. And this can also be done with things to do. And this is one of my personal favorites, because having a long list of books that I still want to read, or games that I still want to play, or things on my watch list on Netflix that I still need to watch, I found it quite stressful actually to have a large backlog of things that I still want to do, even if they are things that are for fun and relaxational and supposed to provide you with joy. I found them stressful because I had a huge long list that I still needed to go through. So you could say I'm going to read every book that I still have before I'm allowed to buy any new books or rent new books. You could play all your video games. You could watch your entire Netflix watch list before adding something new to it. And it also brings you a lot of clarity when it comes to things like skincare items, for example. If you don't gravitate towards them, maybe there's a reason for it, and by actually using it up, this can tell you that, yeah, I don't really want to purchase this product again. Get rid of one item you don't need every day. Of course, this mostly applies to people who still have quite a bit of decluttering left. And I think like big overwhelming goals like decluttering your entire house or decluttering your entire wardrobe or your entire kitchen can be a little daunting, and it can make us procrastinate on these things because we don't know where to start. So if you recognize this, then you could set the goal for yourself that, for example, this whole year, every day you find one item in your home that is not providing you with value anymore, that you don't love or use anymore, and that you want to get rid of. Little things like this do add up over time. Think about the story of the hare and the tortoise. I personally love this story because I have always been more of the slow and steady approach, and people have sometimes called me like boring or predictable because of these things. And I do think that this approach usually is better than the one where you go really fast all at once and then you lose steam and burn out after a while. Curate your monthly bills. Of course, some of our monthly bills cannot be avoided, things like rent, groceries, health insurance, electricity. But most people also have some monthly bills that are not strictly necessary, and even if they are for a small amount, again here, those can add up. So it could be a good idea to just take out your phone, take a look at your bank account and write down all of the monthly bills, monthly expenses that are extra, that are not necessary. So subscription services, stuff like that, and then take a moment to think if those costs are still worth it to you. And even if you can cancel only one or two of these monthly things, again, those expenses do add up, so it does save you money over time. Number 8, cut back on the noise. Let's talk a bit about mental clutter, because that is a real thing as well that minimalism can help us with. I have noticed it within myself last year. I had a lot more mental clutter going on. Just, the chattery voices, the opinions of people, discussions online. It can also just be a lot. Something you could do is make the decision to cut back on this noise and spend more time in stillness, whether that is actual silence around you, or if you can't control your environment, at least be more still within yourself. So what you could do is don't always listen to a podcast while you're also walking outside. Don't always be on your phone when you're commuting to work. Find some moments when these things can add value for you, but also find some moments to be still, especially in the mornings and in the evenings. I would recommend doing this just a bit more. I also think that online discussions about topics that I really care about, like veganism, for example, tend to cost me a lot of energy. And the people that have these discussions online are usually two opposite sides with extreme viewpoints. And I feel like there's very little nuance, and that's the way the online world works. So I have to decide for myself to cut back on all of that noise and mental clutter and focus more on my life, my here and now, the people around me, my home, and just be present. I keep burping today. What's wrong with me? Why am I burping so much? Number 9, always go shopping with a plan. This is the biggest thing, I think, when it comes to minimalism and shopping less. Going shopping with a plan. Don't just go browsing, because the stores know how to get you to buy their stuff. They use scientifically researched ways to overload you with stimuli, overload you with information, make it really hard for you to make a rational choice and buy a bunch of things that you don't need. So if you're going grocery shopping, bring a grocery list. If you are going for jeans, only go for the jeans. And if you see something that you also like that is not on your list, take a picture of the price tag as well, save it on your phone for a few days, think it over, and go back if you still want it. Lastly is a really practical one that we can do perfectly right now, and that is getting rid of any seasonal decor that you have in your home that you didn't use last season. If you're watching this video real time, then we just had a Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, all of that stuff. And if you have any seasonal decor for that season that you didn't use or you didn't like, then this is a great opportunity to get rid of it. And it doesn't have to be this season, it can also be a springtime like Easter or summer decor. Do people use that? I'm not sure. But just take a look at any seasonal decor that you have in your home, just things that you like to store away for most of the year and only take out like once a year. Take a good hard look at it, see what you didn't like, see what you didn't use, and donate that if it's still in good condition. I would love to know from you what your goals are when it comes to minimalism and decluttering in your life and in your home this year, because first of all, I'm curious and I like to read that stuff, but second, because it can help me to make meaningful content for you all this year. So feel free to leave that in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out Skillshare. I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. Link and everything you need in the description box. And I also recommend watching this video because this is where I go into more of the like emotional decision making when it comes to letting go of some things that you no longer need. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.